Hi, I'm Abby, and today I am going to share with you exactly what took place yesterday evening in that video. And I've had a very nice, restful sleep. And okay, so let me think of where to begin here with this. I've been so pumped up, but then obviously I have to get ready for work and all that. So then now I'm sort of starting to fade a little bit because I'm tired. I'm still tired. And yesterday was pretty unusual. So I had some questions on a video and that I had made about some experiences that I had when I was younger. And the experiences were very unusual and sort of explored what other people would call dream world, but it is not a dream world, and I would not be able to tell you where that exists, but it is far more real of an experience than anything in our real life. And that in that world is where I had strange, nightmarish soul entities visiting me, and how that felt. And so that you can watch that video. I talk about it there. And so he had indicated some questions he was curious about, and I'm all about trying to share everything that I can. And because I'm so used to the strangeness, I can't really tell I can't go back to what are questions that get you to this point. I've been exploring the entire question of what am I? What is a soul? What is a universe? Do aliens exist? And this started at a very young age. This started when I was 12. I always pinpoint this back to 12, and I think that any psychologist would agree that at the age of 12, your mind develops, and it sort of switches from what is more of a childlike mind, where you just react to your surroundings and you try to go with the flow, and you're just sort of in your imagination, to what is a mind that's trying to understand the world around you, trying to make sense of how you fit into the world, trying to help you become an adult, a functioning adult in society. That is what happens at 12. And so at age 12, I started trying to comprehend what was spirit. I tried to comprehend why I saw the world behaving in the way that it was, and it just didn't make any sense to me. And that right there, the fact that I could see that this world was so full of what I saw was a very painful world with everybody hating each other. That's what I saw every single day, and that created depression in me, and that created very, very difficult. I didn't fit in, and I still don't always fit in. I try to be more normal than I can come off to be, but it doesn't really matter. But anyway, and so I always had a sensitivity to the spirit world, and people I wanted to understand what that was. And so over all of these years, I've developed into what I'm aware of, and it took a long time to even share that, because if I share that, then people who've never known this about me are going to know this about me now, and what are they going to think about me? That is so human, that is so natural to feel that way. I'm like everybody. I have feelings too, I can't just, explain why. I can explain why. I can tell you why this life is actually functioning in this way now. When I was in my early 20s, I was frustrated by it. I didn't understand it. At that time. So just to give you more of a feel for my life experience. So at 12, I prayed all the time, and I was raised a Catholic, and my dad didn't go to church, and he actually believed that he was a Native American in a previous lifetime, which I was very intrigued by, but fearful that for his soul, because if he hasn't been baptized or doesn't believe in Jesus, then he's going to go to hell. Like, I was very fearful. And so that is what prompted me to think so much about spirituality, because that was so huge to me, trying to understand that. And and then with everything, just developing and seeing the world that I lived in and how I fit into that, and and feeling like it didn't make sense that people couldn't just love each other. I didn't understand why everybody had to be segregated into groups of what your appearance was, what your family developed you into, what your intelligence levels were. Everybody gets categorized into groups here, and it just didn't make any sense to me. I just didn't know why we couldn't just love each other. Like, why is that so hard? And that right there inspires grief. It inspires depression. It inspires confusion, massive confusion, and I myself was challenged to fit in here, be acceptable, because I didn't fit into any categories. I wasn't trying to be anybody. I was just being me. And so that there is a rejection right there. If you want to just be you, that's a rejection of society. You got to at least make sense in some category. You got to somehow fit into some category, and everybody can see those categories. I don't even have to tell you about them. You could point them out, and you could take 5 random people from a mall and tell me, I guarantee they live on this side of town, they have this type of job, and you're probably going to be right on 4 out of 5 of those. There's always one that's a little fishy, but for the most part, you get something right about it, because people grow up that way. People still stay in the same categories where they developed, and some people get out of them and alter the category, but they just change into a new category. Anyway, I got to take a little hot drink. Anyway, the goal here was not to talk about this exactly, but to at least give you a perspective of how I've developed into who I am, in college. I'll save it for another day, because I always have to do these videos in the early morning or at night, and I do have a job, so I only have so much time to talk to you. So I just want to go straight into the experience yesterday. So paranormal researcher shared some questions, and I hope he doesn't mind that I'm like pinpointing them out entirely, but I think it's awesome that you have the ability to ask questions and to search for answers, and if I can share my own experience and help with that, then I'm all about that. So last night, we're getting close to Halloween, and I've had my own odd experiences with darker entities, and some very surprising ones, and I wanted to talk about that last night. And I'd been trying, to figure out how I would approach the conversation, what points I would make, that sort of thing. And each time I tried, it was like I would go into that shutdown state where there is some. And I can feel it already, and it sort of starts here, and I can feel the energy sort of infiltrating me. I call it downloading information, because I literally feel like there's not a language to it. Sometimes there's some language to it. There's some English words to it, but for the most part, it is sort of like I am absorbing the information from somewhere. I don't know where. It feels alien to me, but I think it is really just the universe. I think it's really just the universe. I don't know how to define it, describe it. It feels weird. Doesn't feel like something you have to deal with every day. And that was hard, because I trying to make a video, and I was frustrated, and it didn't make sense that this had to keep happening. In the first video I made, I thought, well, I'll just send this to him. And I was like, no, I'm gonna make it right. I've dealt with that. I'm gonna try this again. I tried again, and I don't know what it was about the energy yesterday, and I know we're dealing with full moon, and that triggers these downloads of information. Full moons. I literally live by a moon cycle. I started noticing it around 2011 or so. That the days, what felt like, you keep track of a calendar, and you have every day and have every week. It started to feel like more like, well, this month I'm experiencing this, and now next month I don't know what I'm going to experience. And it started to alter what my sensation of time was. So time, it was no longer day, week, it became month, cycles of a moon. And now it is so cycles of a moon that I actually, even sometimes it's like, all right, full moon's approaching, what kind of weirdness. Like, I actually liked this month, so please, next month, do not freak me out. Please don't do that. Because each moon cycle, the energy changes, and it is so weird. And everybody here on this planet is dealing with it. I just feel it so strongly, and I can't resist it. I just can't help it. And it's becoming such a part of my experience anymore. It's pain sometimes, and it is it does concern me, because I could be working at my computer at work, where I'm in the public, and I do just stall out. So I'm just staring at my screen just like I did in the video, and I just I can't move. I wouldn't want to move. I can't. It's weird, because you would just think, well, just make it go away, or move or whatever. It actually is a sensation that is like getting stunned, but I could totally move, but I don't want to disrupt that. I don't know how to describe it. It's sort of a nice feeling, although it's frustrating, because as it's happening, I do have control over feeling concerned about people seeing me, wondering how long is it going to take, wondering what is going, what is the information that is being inputted into my body. And the feeling is sort of like, so I can tell there's information, and I can tell it is entirely inside of my energy field, and it is getting sucked like a vacuum into my blood, into my physical form, and then the information is inside me. And that's what it feels like. And then it's so yesterday, I just decided to say, heck with it. I don't have to show this video. I'll just let it do its thing, and we'll just see what happens. Because obviously it wants to share something, and I don't know, and so I let it do. And I was also trying so hard to share what I had planned on sharing, but then I just said, okay, I'll just let you be in control this time, and see if I could maybe. The energies are so strong, it's really hard to move. It's really hard to speak, and I can start to feel it relaxing me, because I am thinking about it, so I'm already making a connection with it. I don't know what it looks like, I don't know where it comes from, I don't know what it is, but it just is the universe. So now I'm talking about it, I'm starting to feel relaxed. It's starting to creep up on me, is the way that it feels. And I want to talk about what it was that it shared with me. So, hold on a second. Trying to create a disconnect from it really quick, so I can just talk to you. So hold on a second. Okay. You do this in your normal life. You don't realize you make connections with stuff, and then suddenly you want to get off work so you can go hang out with your friends. It's the same thing. You start thinking about things, and it starts feeding into your body, and then you just can't stop thinking. I mean, dang it. So, I can feel it pretty strongly right now. Alright. So what it shared with me was, what I saw was, great. I don't know if I can talk to you. I might have to end the video here for now. But I'm going to try. Hold on. Let me try and see if I can try and do this. I'm like fighting it off. Okay. Alright, so what I saw was, so it was talking about evil spirits. So to talk about evil spirits, you kind of have to know what, oh my gosh. I don't know what to do right now. I don't know if I should just let it completely take over me or just try not to. Okay, I've had it off again. It's taking forever. Okay. I saw it was all darkness. And I kind of talked about this in my slurry way. But I saw what would be like a beginning, but I don't want to even say it was a beginning, but let's just call it a beginning. I don't know how to define where it started, but there was just all darkness, and that there was light inside of darkness, and so the light, what the picture was just like what would be a black page. And then entering into the black page was a circular, like a tornado of light, just entered into it. And as it entered in, it could only do this. It could only enter in like this, as a spiral. And so everything is inside this spiral. And it almost feels like even this moment in time is turning inside of this spiral, and that was what they showed me. That was the crazy part about what they showed me, was that, and I call them they because it feels like feels like more than one. It feels like they. It feels like they. I don't know about they. But what they showed me was how all things are connected, literally in the dark and the light, and into the spiral, which is everything. It is all of, there is no beginning and there is no end. That is the whole thing. That is the whole picture. And it was insane, because I kept talking about the dark being blinding, more pure than that actually was experienced by me. I experienced blinding light from the dark light, from darkness was blinding me. Darkness was blinding me, but not in an evil way, not in a terrible dark way, in a way that was like I'm standing in a spotlight and it's shining right in my eyes, but it's completely like darkness, and it was blinding. How do you make sense of that as a human being? How do you make sense of that? And that was the message, was that I, as a human being, I'm trying to explain what I've come to know, but I'm not explaining it correctly because I am still trying to be human. Even right now, I'm trying to be human and explain things to you like everybody else. That was the biggest part of the message, was that I have to try and do it differently. I have to try and alter the way I'm sharing information. And if that means I have to go into freaky mode and just let them turn me into a weird vegetable where I can talk through things, maybe that's what people need. Maybe people need to see that. Maybe people need weirdness that is natural. That is actually a natural thing. That's not a weird psycho thing. That's a natural thing. And people think natural is the daily routine, is the next series that they look forward to 3 months from now, or whatever stupid thing. I swear to God, there's so many stupid things. And it frustrates me. I try not to get frustrated, but I have been dealing with this for a very long time. I'm still young, but dang it, I have been dealing with this frustration about the people around me for so many years that I internally am frustrated, and so it just so basically, so in that experience, they told me I need to change. I need to do it differently, and that was frustrating because I just started doing it differently. I was writing for a few years whenever I could, and I didn't really feel like it was sharing exactly what I was trying to say, and I was always rushed. And so I decided that I'd take a new step, and obviously I've made videos before, just not me speaking. So then I decided, I better just make a more crucial step and put myself in front of a camera, which is even scarier. So here I've done that, and I thought that's been amazing progress. And now they're telling me that is not what they're looking for. I have to do it differently. Like, what do you want me to do? What do you seriously want me to do? How do I do it differently? I don't know how you want me to do it differently. I mean, I've already gone through these stages of being like a hermit in my own world, doing my own thing. Then I went into creating a website and writing and trying to share that way. And now here, and then I made videos, and now here I'm talking. Like, those are baby steps right there. That's a ladder. That's going up the ladder. That's of improvement. And then that's still not good enough. Like, what else can I do? So that was a huge part of the message. That for me to have the confidence to just say, you know what, heck with it. I'm just going to put this on the internet for everybody to see me like this. That's pretty hardcore stuff right there. That is hardcore stuff. And they're already trying to get me to just let them suck themselves into me and just turn me weird. But they're like kind of backing off now that I can talk again. But so I just want to describe that experience, what that feels like. That's really normal for me to have that happen all day long. That's been happening for definitely this year. So let's just, but also last year too. So it hasn't always been happening. It's just started to happen in the last, like, let's just say 2 years. I started noticing time felt different. And now I evaluate time by a moon cycle, which sounds really stupid, but it is the truth. It is the truth. It is a moon cycle, and each moon there's different energy that affects us, so our experiences are changing every single moon. Our exploration of ourself is actually a snake shedding its skin every single moon and getting a fresh new skin, only to become more self-aware, to shed the skin and then become a new skin again. And this happens every single moon. I have been experiencing it, seeing it, feeling it every single time there's a new full moon. And especially in the full moon, the energy is so strong that I do get more of this download experience. And that was very hard last night because I just couldn't stop it from happening. It just kept wanting to trigger itself and just be experienced. And so so that explains that. But let me make sure that I didn't miss any points that I had talked about. So there was a darkness, and there was a spiral, and in the spiral is all the things. So part of the message was that I am not self-aware. I feel human, which I do right now. I feel human. I feel like I'm talking to you. In that moment, which was so crucial, I actually saw what was split apart in my perception, split apart of what the real reality is. And that was what was so hardcore. That was so crazy, the feeling, because I suddenly in that instant saw where I existed in the spiral, and saw actually, it's sort of weird what a lifetime actually is. I'm trying to think of how to describe it. Everything is like baking, like everything is like it is part of a baked good, and I'm just like a part of a bread or something that's been baking, and that is me. That is I become baked into the bread each lifetime, and that isn't even helping me describe that, but that was really what it was, because I'm actually a spirit. I'm actually a spirit that has a persona that's baked into this bread, and I'm not actually in the bread. I'm actually a spirit, and I seem to think that I am the bread and not the spirit. It's so weird. That's what was profound, because I suddenly saw for the first time what I am. That's hard. That's intense. I wish I could describe it. That doesn't come with human language. That doesn't come with human senses or understanding. That is super right there. And now that I know that, I don't even know what to do with that. I mean, I always did know that, but I never felt that before. That was me feeling that for the first time. That was serious right there. That if everybody had that moment, people would freak out. So it's good that I've had these like so many years of time to like prepare for that moment. Otherwise, I'd be crazy right now. And so, but anyway, so that was part of the message too, was to show me who I am and how I'm not actually here. I only think I am here. And that is part of it. That's totally known. That's totally normal to be human and not know you're not human. That's silly. That sounds silly. But also, what was disturbing to me, because I saw what were dark souls, and I thought they were part of a dark light, and that the lights were separate, but the dark and the light, that has nothing to do with that. Actually, that, because it was just dark, and then there was this spiral on the inside that was light, and I was so confused by that, because everything exists in this dark light, which is super light, which is blinding light, which is more light than any other light ever known in existence. It's insane. I don't get that, but that is what I experienced. And these souls, these evil spirits, I guess, they're suffering in ways I had no idea, because when I've experienced creepy souls, I interact with them like a human interacts with another human, and I've never perceived them to be suffering like that. I don't know why they would have to be suffering. I don't. That still doesn't make sense to me, because the dark souls I've interacted with did not feel suffering. Did not feel like they were suffering at all. But my awareness in that experience was literally like so sad for them that they would not know what love feels like. They wouldn't have the awareness of what love feels like. But maybe that's because I know what love. I am a different side of a different creation of a whole. I still have to understand that. Here I am being human, trying to explain what they told me that I could not explain as a human. So I have to figure out a way to do it differently, and that maybe that is me letting go of the reins and allowing them to just funnel themselves into me. And if it has to go where I'm just sort of slovenly, like holding my head up, speaking very slowly for them, maybe that's what I need to do. And just maybe it's a slow development, but then maybe in like 10 videos, maybe I'll be a master of it and actually allow them to take over my voice. Because that's kind of that is channeling, that is letting them take over and share ancient wisdom through me, because they would be like, I feel human. They are beyond human. They are super, super beyond human. And they then could they could actually take over me, or do the thingamabob in the back and then let it go in. But they would be all absorbed into me, so that I just let them take over, and they then would come out of my voice. I could try to do that. Maybe that's what I'll do next. I just at least want to do a follow-up video of what the experience was, the challenge of sharing that, just the challenge, just what was shared to me, the whole experience of that, so you can understand. I do care that, it is important to me. I'm trying to share wisdom, I'm trying to share something that is so important to my soul, so important to me, my awareness of me, and I know how human beings think. I know how human beings react to stuff, and I worry that that people will discredit everything I've ever said now. And all of my hard work has been for nothing. But all I can do is trust in this moment. You just have to trust. I'm jumping off a cliff right now, but something is important about this, that I jump off the cliff and not know what's gonna happen or how anybody's gonna react, and just not to worry about that. Just to live each day and not try and understand why. Not try and care about the reactions, not just live your life, and if it's weird and different from other people, then that's okay, because not all the flowers are the same. There's so many varieties, and if all the flowers look the same, then that would be sort of like a terrible thing for us, to not be able to know what the other flowers looked like. If all we saw were dandelions, that's all we knew. We would think dandelions were beautiful. But then to also not know what a sunflower is, or a tulip, or all that, like that would be sad. We wouldn't even know the sadness, because it just, but that's important. That's the whole message, is that it's good to have the different varieties, so people can see what else exists. So people can see the beauty of creation in all of us, which can be different. So I'm gonna stop there. And I hope I hope this has been a good follow-up video. I'm going to attempt to try some new things with this. I'm going to attempt to see if I can, I'm going to attempt to just let them be in control and see where this goes. I know I'm not the only person on the planet who's experienced this, but it feels like I am, because that's not something everybody experiences. It's entirely spiritual. It's not something that is my brain is malfunctioning, I need to take medicine. That's not what that is. That's spiritual. And it could be alien. It feels kind of alien, but I felt like the wisdom was sort of like, now that I'm reevaluating it feels so alien, but that's because it's unknown to me, my body, my physical body, so it feels alien, but it feels literally like ancient wisdom from the fabric of the bread or something, from the fabric of the spiral, from the fabric of all the energy, all the creation, all the that dark bright light. It felt like it was coming from all the creation, the most ancient aspects of it. And so for me to let that go through is so monumental. I mean, if I just let ancient come through me, wow, what's gonna happen? What is that gonna mean? What is that gonna share? What's ancient got to share with this planet? That's pretty crazy right there. Anyway, so I'm going to say goodbye for now, and we'll just see how the videos come along. I'm kind of busy with Halloween and everything, so well, I don't know when I'll be able to make another one right away, but we'll just share them as they come. So thank you for watching, as usual.